This is reality. A beautiful American city, rich, powerful, and alive with people exuding potential and promise. A community where spirits soar high. Dallas, the American dream. But for many, the dream is a spiraling nightmare. This also is reality in every American city. Abused children, battered women, poverty-stricken street people, helpless victims desperately needing a helping hand. They too were born with potential and promise.
My mother's boyfriend went on a drunk, and she needed help with the rent, and Eddie was working. And so she asked us to move in with her. And so we moved in with her for about 2 weeks. Her boyfriend comes back from the drunk, and he tells us we gotta leave.
Well, we were robbed coming from Corpus Christi to Dallas. And when we got here, we had no money, no place to go. And we had didn't even know where we were gonna go next.
I've been looking for a place for somebody to help me out. You know, maybe I've been going in different places, warehouses and, you know, restaurants.
He's having problems and from his side of the family and my side, so it was just one of those things. I had to get out to myself for a while.
Last time I seen my 2 children was back in October, right before Halloween, when I sent my wife back up home. Yes, I told her to go back up home until I could get transportation, permanent job, and get back up on my feet.
Is there hope for these people? In the shadow of affluence, is there an answer for the helpless? This man believes there is an answer. He believes there is hope. Dr. James Starks. In Dallas, Dr. James Starks was so filled with compassion when he saw the dead-end dilemma of the street people that in 1979, he decided to do something to reverse their plight. With the support of a number of businessmen, he spearheaded the vision that is becoming a reality nationwide, Helping Hands Ministries.
More than 20 years ago, I began to work with street people. And back at that time in the city of Dallas, in the inner city, there was less than 200 people that were on the streets of Dallas every night. But I've seen that in the last 20 years grow from 200, which were, most of those were alcohol related. Up until the present time, there's more than 4,000 people every night on the streets of Dallas, just in the inner city alone. As I said at that time, most of those were alcohol related. Now, less than 10% of your street people are alcohol related, and I'd say that 30 to 35% are a quick release from our mental institutions because of the overcrowding issue, and possibly 25 or 30% has to do with battered wives and so forth. At the present time at Dallas Life Foundation, we have 71 rooms there that we can take care of battered wives, and they stay full most of the time. There would be another probably 5 or 8% of your street people that are drug related. And then many of them are just a fallout of the economic situations and conditions today. If every family in America that God has blessed in a tremendous way would just take one misplaced or one unfortunate individual and just take care of them, we'd have no welfare. We could completely wipe welfare out in our great country today. There's no reason for any little boy or little girl or man or woman to go to bed hungry at night or not have a place to sleep, to lay their head in this great land of free enterprise and plenty that we have today.
From humble beginnings where only food and shelter could be administered, has grown the largest mission shelter in the world. The new 1,000-bed facility located in downtown Dallas, the Dallas Life Foundation, can now provide education, counseling, and rehabilitation programs.
A typical day usually is very exciting. We start out dealing with people early, and it lasts all day long. And we have every kind that comes through, and so many needs that they have, from people just looking for a home, mothers that have been kicked out by their husband and so forth. Some of them been beaten, and they come seeking shelter for them and their children. We have men that just come on just any given day that's just looking for work. We have people that just come into the city of Dallas that thought that this was a good place to find a job, and they didn't find one, and transportation is so bad that it's nearly impossible for them to find something, especially immediately. So they come here seeking a shelter to stay until they can find something, or we can help them find something.
One case in particular, we had a man die in the jail. He died from a heart attack that was caused by exposure. And in those days, we didn't have any place else for a person who was intoxicated. They were always booked into the city jail. And in Jesse's case, he'd been in jail 217 times in the year that he died. And he really didn't belong in jail, but there was just no place else for him.
And I think underlying that is the question, whether we want to talk about it socially, religiously, whatever the orientation is, of who is my neighbor. Well, going back to the statistics, as much as we can go ahead and verify what's actually happening, my sensing is that statistically they usually are understated anyway. And that at some point, every individual is going to be affected directly or indirectly in terms of this kind of need.
I would say that there's a great deal of work that needs to be done by the business community for these people who we pass them on the street every day and don't think anything about them. But they are very much in need of our help, both spiritually, financially, emotionally. Anything we can do for them, we need to do. And there's a great deal. It's just so much work that needs to be done that the burden needs to be taken off the government, put on our own selves. It belongs to us. We should take care of these people.
10 years ago, you had what was known as the professional hobo, bum, if you will, alcoholic, and you were talking about less than probably 200 people 10 years ago. Today, we're looking at 3,500 to 4,500 people daily. And there have been a number of transitions that's happened. And of course, now you've got such a mixture of people that are now homeless and displaced individuals. And as a result, what we found is that we do not see that it is the potential epidemic that it really is. And I think government has not given enough consideration, and the private sector has definitely not done enough.
When I came in a year ago. I worked for the children's home back when they were building it, when we were first building those houses. And it was 105 degrees and hot, and we did it. And I didn't have any money, and I came in, I just asked, I remember Ray Bailey standing in the doorway, and I said, I need some help. I don't have a dime. I didn't. And they brought me in, gave me a job. I worked. Now I work for them, and I'm real happy.
Well, I came here with very little in my pocket. I came here with $50 in my pocket and a bunch of luggage. And I really don't have a lot of money to this day, but I am better off than what I was when I first came here. I came here to the foundation looking for work when I came here from Louisville, Kentucky 4 years ago. And all of a sudden I was accepted real well here at the foundation. I got in with A&A temporary as one of the drivers, also with the chapel service as long as lead music for them, and also for as far as, you know, helping out people with personal problems, listening to their personal problems. And it's something I've enjoyed doing ever since I've been here.
An individual, a mother with her children, a senior citizen. So many helpless victims arrive, but none are hopelessly lost.
Hello, ma'am. This is your first night with us.
Yes.
What's your name?
Carol Davis.
Carol, where are you from?
Moberly, Missouri.
In Missouri. Okay, this is your first night in. Tell us about this. Tell me you have 2 degrees, have a bachelor's degree, or what? Tell me about it.
Teaching, I taught 2 years in elementary and special ed.
You taught 2 years in elementary and special?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. What brought you to Dallas?
Well, I came out this time and I came to Dallas. I got a ride to Dallas, and then I got a ride from Dallas to Huntsville. And I wound up there for a few days, and then I was coming back this way. So I wound up here.
What's your opinion of Dallas Life Foundation, just by seeing it? Have you seen anything like this in any other city?
Well, I've been in about 5 others. The people are friendlier and nicer here.
Friendlier and nicer. It's larger, too, isn't it?
Larger. I haven't been upstairs, so I don't know.
We're glad to have you here, Teresa.
I'm glad to be here.
Want to be a blessing to you.
It's often a long, wrenching road back for an individual to gain self-respect and confidence, especially when seeking employment. That's one reason why Dr. Starks also established the A&A Temporary Labor Service. Several large companies employ the hourly laborer for various jobs. Thousands of men and women have been provided employment and self-respect by reaching out with a helping hand to those who cannot help themselves. Dallas Life Foundation has brought encouragement, salvation, and hope.
I've looked for help for 26 years now. I didn't get any help, but you know, I found help right here at Dallas Life Foundation. And Dallas Life Foundation, hey, they will do anything and everything they can do to help somebody else.
You know, the Dallas Life Foundation, they kind of give you a place so that you can help yourself get back.
I would be out on the streets right now, me and my kids. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have no home at all.
If it wasn't for places like this, people like me would be out on the street somewhere. And I just thank God that this place does exist.
More than 65,000 child abuse cases were reported last year just in the state of Texas. At least 2,000 children die each year in Texas from abuse and neglect. In fact, in 1984, more children died of abuse and neglect than from all diseases combined, including those who die of leukemia and other cancers. It's been reported that 1/4 of the girls and 1/6 of the boys in our country are sexually abused before reaching high school age.
The incidences of child abuse stem directly from the attitude of the public right now. We're moving so fast, and we're actually in a throwaway society, and the trouble is that we're actually throwing away our children.
One of the most severe child abuse cases that I have been involved in treating is that of a small child just several months old who allegedly had fallen from a bed onto the floor, therefore sustaining a head injury. The type of injury, which was a severe skull fracture, resulted from a blow that would have been far greater than the child just falling from a bed onto the floor. This child, unfortunately, later died.
And I became overwhelmed with what was happening. I'll tell you, an atrocity going on in our very society, a crime, really, and it's being committed against our own children. And so I determined then that I was going to do something. First I thought, well, I'll find a home that's doing the work and I'll support it. But as I began to look around, I learned that no one was doing the work. And so I thought, well, I'm going to have to be the one that maybe does a little bit of it. And so we began the children's community here. And I determined that I was not going to build a children's home or an institution, so to speak, but real homes with real house parents and fireplaces and nice bedrooms, nice surroundings, and so forth. Because these children, I've learned that each one of them has a bad self-image. They need to be believed. They need to be understood. They need to be loved. And so that's another purpose for Helping Hands. Helping Hands will be the umbrella, and we'll build the home for senior citizens here. Right next to it is being built. And through that, every senior citizen needs to interrelate with young folks. And every kid that I know of needs a grandparent. And so we have determined that we're going to build such facilities, real homes, that will turn out some great politicians, some great attorneys, some doctors, maybe in the medical field, in the teaching field. And we want to turn out quality young men and young women from our home.
The Children's Community is a series of real homes in a residential neighborhood. Here, the children, some fiercely abused, experience perhaps for the first time ever a proper home environment. House parents who can demonstrate unconditional love and acceptance are chosen to provide good parenting. The homes are first class, with all the modern conveniences, not an institution. There is no hint of dormitory living. The Children's Community also offers counseling services to the offending parent in the hopes of total rehabilitation and reunion. When the center is completed, the Children's Community will have 19 buildings and take up to 160 children. Outdoor recreational facilities will soon be completed with a park, playground, and sports areas. The children's community will also provide housing for seniors. Senior City and the children's community will save thousands of lives as this model is repeated across America. The Dallas Life Foundation, with all its awareness of compassion to tragic victims, is having an enormous effect on the city of Dallas and will change the future of care for the hopeless across America.
I love you, Mom and Dad. Did you do that?
Yes.
Do you really mean it?
Yes.
That's what it's all about. I've learned through giving my life to others that the Bible verse where it says, "He that giveth to the poor lendeth to the Lord," is certainly true. Would you become a helping hand to help others that is not as fortunate as we are, that they might become productive citizens and live happy lives?